It's really an honor to be with you and to be invited to these conversations. I do believe this is the first time a Hispanic or a Latino is invited to the creation of the history of the people of Utah. So I'm all grateful. I'm just happy to be among you. And to me, words are not needed. But they asked me to talk, and they're going to pay the consequences for that. Yes, I'm about the places, but about the people who live in those places. And I really sympathize and empathize with both of you, because you talk deep to what a person is. In an oral history, you get into the sanctity of the person, and you carry those interviews with you. So you are the container of all people's life, and people's life are sacred, and we need to respect that. So what I'm trying to do again is probably put together something that it will be meaningful to, again, recreate your interest in doing oral histories and looking at the history of the places and how all together are just one. Again, for me, pictures are very important because they say the picture talk more than words. And that's what I'm trying to do here. You can see that first picture of a Mexican-American woman that completely dressed in the American flag. And I said that because when I came to Utah, or when Utah came to me, again, because we never come to this continent, we have always been here, probably 6,000 years before the pioneers came. And I said that again because my background, okay? I don't know how you classify me, and probably I'm not interested also in listening to you because your classifications are wrong. But again, my father is a native Mexican, Native American, whatever you want to call it. My mother is French. I'm married to an Italian woman. And my daughter was born in Utah and said, "What are we?" I said, "What do you mean, what are we? We are everything. We are everybody. We are people. It's not that enough." But again, I said that because it's projected in my research. So what I'm trying to do here, again, for me, pictures, and we need to talk a lot about this because, again, you were saying, before you go to the interview, you prepare yourself. And people said, but the pictures are more objective representations of reality. That is not true. We took a picture before you take the picture, isn't it true? When pictures are intentional. You say, I'm going to go to this place, and I know what I want to get, right? So what do? You take the picture on your mind, and when you have the camera are so biased. And if not, look at that little things that you carry, and then you put in your, right? I think they're called cellular phones, especially the last version. It's not a commercial, but it's the Apple thing that has 3 cameras on it. Why do they put 3 cameras? Because you select what you want. Isn't it true? It's not objective. You say, I want to get a zoom. I'm not going to get into that because but that's part of the methodology. So again, what I'm trying to do here again is create it in ethnic histories. How do you go about it? And which one did you press here? On the right. Are you sure it's not a gun? So, yeah, what I have done is putting together the history of Latinos, Mexican American, Hispanic, Chicanos. Again, we don't have a word for them. And I did it, again, because personal reasons. When I came to Utah, I was told that the history of Utah started in 1947. But since I was 5-year-old, I grew up in Mexico. I born in Mexico by accident. When I was 5-year-old, I learned that Utah was part of Mexico. And then when I came here, they said, no, it is not part. So again, as a person, you have what is called cognitive dissonance. What you see outside is not what you are inside, and you somehow need to put the whole enchilada together. You know what I'm talking about. So, and that's what I'm trying, and that's what I'm trying to do, put the history. So I have written several books, and one of them, I think, has been the most successful one, and the cover is there. And it took me, where is my good friend? 13 years to publish it. Why 13 years? Because again, when you come with oral histories and you tell that this is my reality, people are not going to believe it. So what do? Show them pictures. And it happened to me when I was doing oral history interview in Moab is the city. After that, Monticello for the Italians. Okay, so what happened is I was doing the interview with a 98 years old person, and I asked her, do you have a history? Can you tell me your history? I don't have a history, I have pictures. I said, really? Can you show me one? And she goes and showed me a picture that is put together with Scotch tape. That were the curators coming to place. And it was a beautiful picture. It was for a family, I think 18 something, right? So it took me 30 hours to curate that picture. But it was important to me because, again, pictures reflect reality. And in order to read picture, which is not exactly what you get in your phones, those are not pictures. You don't keep them 30 days after you destroy them. There is even an automatic program in your telephone. You destroy history so easily. So again, building to pictures, I start recollecting the whole history. You can see all my books. I have several there again, because I don't have anything else to do but writing and talking, which I love. I love my mariachi accent, by the way. So there are two reasons. All my you can see they are based on pictures. Why? Because I want the people to tell the history. Okay? We do have a history. You have a history. You just need to tell it to us. And I need to hear it. Because if I don't hear it from you, I'm incomplete. I'm not a full person. I need to hear. Because your history is sacred to me. What you give to your own existence, to your own life. So you can see pictures. In order to do that, you need to teach the people how to see pictures. Right? Because some people just see the foreground, but they never see the background. It's called photo literacy. So before I go and publish my books, I teach people how to read a picture, because pictures are historical documents. Again, not the new ones, but so we start with that. So all my books are bilingual. Okay, nobody's perfect. And they are bilingual because they are written for people who don't believe and don't have a history. Okay? And why do I do that? Because these are the people who don't have access to formal education. These are the people who will never meet this place, but I'm going to bring them here to see how beautiful this is, right? So again, they need to be represented, and again, I use their language. And I use, again, the language because it's part of our identity, who we are. I'm plurilingual, and it's not my mistake. I have to. It's not a choice. If I don't speak the native language of my dad, who's going to understand me? If I don't speak French, when I go to France, nobody's going to believe that my mother is French and is white, beautiful blue eyes, blonde hair. And you know, the questions are, how are you look like that? And my mama will say, oh, that guy, he just spent more time in the oven. I mean, and she's not going to go to all this, he is a little bit brown and look like this because his father, she doesn't believe in that. So she makes jokes out of that. And I'm saying that again because it is important to reflect who you are as a writer. Yes, you talk about biases. I don't think there are biases, with all my respect. It's who I am. And we are different, and we need to respect that diversity. That is the beauty of this nation, how different and how equal we are. So, again, I don't know. What I was planning to do is tell you how I wrote the books, then how I write journal articles, which are very, very different. Books, again, are mainly for people to consume, right? And to carry with them. In my culture, in my tradition, they said, before you die, you have to do three things. Write a book, plant a tree, and have a child. Because these are the way you are going to perpetuate yourself in history. This is the way you're going to say yourself eternal. You will never die. With this, it's going to be forever, right? Even if we don't read books now. Yeah, but by somebody, oh, this book, and sometimes they don't know who they write it, but you are forever. If you plant a tree, you are perpetuating nature, the beauty of Mother Nature. If you have a child, your blood historically is there. So based on that, again, when I said journal articles, they are very different. You are going to be writing for a very selected group of people. It's what you say. You have to support everything. You need to tell a story that is convincing, that is quote unquote rational, right? That it has valid, that has justification, where you earn a place to be listened and respected. Then I was going to talk about ethnic photographic exhibits. I do have photographic exhibits all over the nation, all over Mexico, all over Peru, all over Costa Rica, all over the United States, because it's the most effective way today. We are a visual people. We don't read. Don't fake it. We don't read anymore. We are just go by picture. This is a different, we understand, we process everything. Just capture yourself, how much time you spend reading a document, a book, a report, the newspaper, and how much time you pass in your phone. And if you don't do it, don't worry. Every Saturday, this company will send you. You have spent 37 hours this week, and you are 15 minutes behind. It's a different generation, and what I'm telling to you, we are visual. The way of learning is different. It's very superficial. And that is the beauty of your work, both of your work, our history, because you capture meaning. What does it mean, this? What does it mean that you are monolingual, bilingual, that you say that you are American? What all that means? What does your life means in Utah? Because what you do is your contribution to us. But you have to push the meaning. That's what I love your work. You ask the person a question, and then you push them, right? Questions that are very not comfortable to me. When I'm interviewing a 80 years old person, women, and I ask, when do you have your first menstrual period? And she goes, well, it's not your business. I said, no, I know you had it. You were 12 years and a half. But what did it mean to you? Well, it was my connection to the land. And what happened? Well, I bury outside my house. Why? Because I know that blood is going to call me back when I die. It's my umbilical cord. You start feeling uncomfortable. And you said, and again, bias on I'm a man, and I'm not supposed to ask that question. I want to know the meaning of it. What does it represent in your life? It's uncomfortable? Yeah, but you are telling me what is behind your life. How do you understand that process? So I was thinking about those photographic exhibits. I will not talk about it. I already spent my time, but that's okay. I will charge you extra for that. So what it is, my first photo exhibit, it was based on this book. That's how everything started. I mean, with the people. So what do? I pick up that picture that they gave me in Monticello. I put it in with more pictures, and I got 150,000 people visit my exhibit. Okay? 150,000. So, yeah, and this probably they did 2,000 copies of this, compared 2,000 to 150,000. And what those people carry? The images, right? Because one image is gonna stay in your mind. Like the first one I showed, a person, very brown, very Mexican looking, involved in the American flag because she loves American, because she is American, she's nothing else. You're gonna carry those in your mind. The same, then I did an exhibit for the Dignity March in Utah. Do you remember that one? The time in 2003, right? That exhibit went, I'm out of time. It went to Washington, D.C., right? To the Smithsonian. I never thought about it. But you capture people through pictures, right? It went to, I think it was the first international colloquium on immigrants and refugees in the United States in the White House. He ended up in Washington. And I said, a guy from Utah, because I was able, not only me, but other people too, to capture the essence of the immigrant and to put it in a face that it reflects you. And you read yourself in the picture. And by reading the picture, you recollect your whole life. When you came here, the reason you came, the suffering, all what you gave up to rebuild and construct this new nation, and you had to find yourself in there. So that's what I do with a photographic exhibit, data collection. I do the oral history interview, mainly because, again, you leave those documents for posterity. All the work that she did, they are in the Memorial Library, and people 300 years from now, they're going to be reading and say, that's incredible what they did. Because again, I read those interviews that were raised and that were taken in 1960 here in Utah, right? And I read those lives, and it's amazing to me. It made me a different person. I carry with them. So I do that, the data collection, and then I was gonna talk about what are the challenges of doing work, right? And I think that I understood your presentation. Procrastination is the best one. You think you have the whole time for you, but that is not true. Okay? Because, yeah, you have this project, and then people read your work and are interested. Can you write more? Can you tell me more about this? Right? So you keep expanding. Well, that's what I was planning to talk. How much do I have to start my presentation? In 1 minute? Enough. I'm telling you that when you publish something, and I invite you to do that, once you publish, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people. Look at what they did with this book. Okay, this is the book on the celebration of the Day of the Dead in Mexico. Because exactly happened what you said. People tell you something, but they don't know what it means. Or when you ask your ancestor, right? Oh, Grandpa, remember when you came from Italy? What did you do? They make it up. But it's normal. Don't think they do it maliciously. It's part of the recollection. It's part of how your brain, your memory works. It tries to accommodate everything to the best place. And you said, Dad, are you sure? And how can you say no? Well, that's what I did with this. I asked the people in Utah, the Mexicans, Mexican-American, Latin, and what is about the Day of the Dead? Oh, this. And I live in there. And I said, oh, my bro, you are making it up. But you don't challenge. You don't challenge. You follow them. Because remember, history is continuously recreated. It's not the same. Everybody will tell different histories. So I did that, right? So guess what happened? I go and do it. I know. I go and do the presentation of the book in Mexico. I was all side up. I even use a suit I never used, but I said, to show them that I am the one. I'm the intellectual, the intelligentsia, or whatever, the United States. And when I got to do the presentation, they did it. I don't know if you can see the picture at the bottom. The indigenous people do it in the park. And we did this presentation at midnight because we need to go and visit all these people in the pictures. That was the time they were going to meet. They made me feel like a different person. So at that time, again, this book, I sold it like in 2 weeks, right? And they don't let me to reproduce it. Why? Because they thought, again, that's what I say, when you do research with people, you need to be careful that when you take a picture of you, not in our Western belief, but when I take a picture of you for the native people, I take a picture of your soul. And they don't know what they're going to do with you. So again, I'm not allowed to do anything with the book. I have to rewrite another one. But the people took over. They sold it in the plaza. It became the book of the people. Okay. Sorry, this is my first slide. I'm sorry again. I do have a lot of stories. I'm sorry I cannot tell your story. Probably I can tell the story of your ancestors because I'm fascinated by the history of the Jewish people in Utah. Completely fascinated. I'm fascinated by the history of the Italians, again, because my wife. I'm fascinated by the history of the Japanese people, right? Because the first Mexican consul in Mexico was a Japanese. And when I went and did oral interviews, I realized that there were a very strong connection between Mexicans and Japanese in the mines. And the stories they tell you, they make you cry. Yeah. And you need to be human. I'm sorry about that. At the same time, when I was doing interview with LDS people at BYU, we got such a deep empathy among our souls that some LDS people trying to convert me in the middle of the interview. I wholly respect that. But they will say, bro, get on your knees. The time of your conversion has come. As a conversion to what? To Christianity. Funny. No, brother. I'm a Christian too. I'm just a different denomination. But again, all this, knowing your history, learning, putting together, seeing ourselves as a whole, because after all of us are just one. And that is the beauty of research. That is the beauty of sharing the stories. And if you invite me again, probably I will do my job. In the meantime, you know what I was thinking and doing. Thank you so much.